So the gopis are saying a very nice thing. I didn't see the acharyas specifically mentioned. They mentioned briefly, but in the Sanskrit, they're using the word tyag. You know tyag. Everyone's heard tyagi sadhu? It means to renounce or renunciate. It can be a lady or a gent. They can be renounced. So they said, Santyagya sarva vishayams. We, for you, we have renounced all objects of sense gratification, sarva vishay, and tyag. We've given up, we've rejected, we've thrown away all objects of sense gratification for you. But yet you, on the other hand, you're renouncing us. That's what it's in the last line. It says, the third line is that the gopis are saying, on our side we gave up everything, but now you're trying to tell us to go home. You want to renounce us. So then they say, we're tyagis, but you should not be a tyagi. It's because in the third line they say ma tyajasman. So they're saying ma means na. So they're saying we gave up all varieties of sense enjoyment, and now you're going to give us up and reject us. So they tell him, don't reject me. Can you imagine if the most beautiful woman in the universe comes and stands before you? I mean, you would just melt in a second. Any ordinary person would just like, that's just me, you know. So they, they say, they're ordering them. They say, don't reject us, you bum. We've come to you, we surrender. We're qualified. We don't have anything else. We have no other object but you, and you're not an object. We didn't give up all objects of enjoyment and hold you as the one object of enjoyment. We gave up all desire to enjoy, because it says sarva vishayat, means we have no desire to enjoy, except we have one object. We want to offer ourselves for the objective of your pleasure. So it behooves you, it will benefit you and behoove you not to reject us. So they're telling him, don't reject me. Can you imagine some beautiful lady comes up and says, don't reject me. Okay, let me think about it. I don't know. Take out my flute. Vamshi, should we stay with this girl, or should we tell her to just go home? Just get out. Vamshi's telling me you should go. And then they'll say, Lalita will grab that Vamshi and break it over a knee, your knee, and throw it in the Yamuna. The problem with the Vamshi, when it hits the Yamuna, it doesn't sink, it'll float. So although many devotees explain how they gave up everything externally to surrender and serve Krishna, and devotees sometimes feel that Krishna is rejecting them or neglecting them or hiding from them. So as I mentioned the other day, I took this Krishna's rejection of the gopis and his cruel treatment. I took it of his rejection of the sadhaka and his apparent cruel treatment, because someone may objectively look at their own lives or the lives of other devotees and say, oh, they're having a very hard time, very, very hard time in the bhakti. Krishna is really punishing them. But what we always say and what is actually true, because as above, so below. Krishna tests his lovers. He appears to reject his lovers. He's cruel to his lovers. So are we not attempting to become lovers of Krishna? Are we not trying to become lovers of Krishna? So as I mentioned the other day, so do we expect that Krishna won't be cruel to us? But we have to understand that Krishna has revealed, this is the book of love. The Bhagavatam is a book of love, and all the books of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas are spin-offs and take-offs and expansions and sourced from the Srimad Bhagavatam, these Gitas. So this is a love story with all the elements of a love story, and we're in a love story also. And we talk about sadhana, bhakti, and tattva, and verses from Gita. But okay, let's move away all the clouds and get down. What we say the goal is Krishna prema. That means love. And everyone has some idea about love, the feeling, the sensation, the joy, the excitement of Purva Rag and falling in love. So that's all there here. So it's a fact everywhere Krishna appears to reject his devotees. And 5,000 years ago, and 500 years ago, and 2 years ago, and right now. He rejects his devotees. He plays hard to get. And it's all the same dance, all the same moves, all the same phrases, all the same exchanges that Krishna does with the gopis, he does with every single serious sadhaka that surrenders to his lotus feet. The acharyas say, although it's not in the Bhagavatam, when Krishna left, that's later, when he left the gopis and they're speaking chapter 31, Gopi Geet, Jayati te dikam janmana vraja, like this, then Krishna was standing there, and there's paintings like that. You see sometimes Krishna standing there. The gopis are all in a circle. The Yamuna is going by because they went deep into the forest. Oh, it's too dark. We can't see him. And there's so many trees and there's so many leaves. Even though we're crying, Sham, Krishna, he won't be able to hear us. Only we're hearing our voices are echoing and bouncing off the trees. Just like Vyasadeva when he called Shukamuni. Shukamuni ran into the forest. Oh, hey Putra, hey Putra, hey Putra. Oh Vatsa, oh Vatsa, oh Vatsa. Vatsa means my calf-like son. Oh Vatsa, oh Vatsa. And only you see in the first canto, everyone read, only the trees were echoing in response. His son was not answering. His son was absorbed in Brahman. He was just Shukamuni. Then finally he came back. And so the gopis went so deep into the forest and crying out, Sham Kahan. And it's very funny because in Antya Lila, Krishna's Kaviraj, a Bengali, writing Bengali book, uses Hindi words. You know those verses? Kahan, Krishna, Kahan. It says Kahan, which means Kotai. Kotai means where. And I heard that Vaitadas was saying this in your classes. He said, and this I saw that because I knew those verses. And they're searching for Krishna. Where have you gone? Kahan, Kahan, Kahan. And he explained, he said, this is the influence of living in North India, that the Bengali Guru and Pandit, Krishna's Kaviraj, when he's writing Bengali shlokas, the first word, instead of saying Kota, you know that, he says Kahan. You can see in Antya Lila. Many, many beautiful verses describing the Viraha Bhav of Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani, Radharani, Radharani.